Ladies and gentlemen, good morning to everybody and welcome. I will call this meeting of the Lawrence County Board of Commissioners to order, today being Thursday, December 28, 2023. This should be our last official meeting of the calendar year. And again, we welcome everybody. We ask if you have a cell phone or with you, if you'd be kind enough to put it on silent or vibrate. We appreciate your doing that. We always begin our meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance, and then I'd ask you to remain standing for a moment of silence. And I have to be honest with you, I'm torn here because I'd like to call on both of you to lead the pledge, which I guess that's what I'll do. Would you both lead us in the pledge?
Absolutely. Thank you, Dan. Yes. Yes.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. We'll have a brief moment of silence. Thank you, everybody. Vanessa, could you please call the roll?
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Here.
Commissioner Buick?
Present.
Commissioner Vogler?
Here, we have a quorum. We will have, as we always do, 2 opportunities for public comment, one in just a few moments and then one before we adjourn. You're welcome to speak both times or one of the 2 times or none if that's your preference. And we do ask that any comments that you might have be related to county government matters. We appreciate that. Next on the agenda, row officer reports and comments. None of our row officers are in attendance this morning. So that does take us to public comment, and I will open the floor to see if anybody has anything they'd like to say at this point in time.
I just wonder how the chairman of the commissioners is selected.
I appreciate your asking that, and if you folks don't mind, I'll explain. That will actually take place officially next Tuesday when the new board is sworn in. We have the swearing in ceremony at 11 o'clock, which by the way is open to the public. That'll be up in courtroom 1. And then the Board of Commissioners will convene at 1 o'clock. And one of the responsibilities of the new board will be to select a chair. The county code basically says it's just whoever the 3 commissioners choose. Now, there's been an unwritten tradition in Lawrence County that the top vote getter becomes the chair. I broke that tradition 4 years ago. I had been the top vote getter, but I had also been serving as chair for the prior 12 years, and I said, you know, it's time for one of the new folks maybe if they'd like to do it. So that's when Commissioner Boyd was chosen as chair by a vote of the 3 of us. And so that's how it's done. The 3 commissioners choose somebody to serve as board chair. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments right now? And by the way, that can change almost at the drop of a hat. There was a situation in Beaver County probably about 8 or 10 years ago where one of the commissioners was serving as chair, and they came into a meeting and one of the other commissioners made a motion that another commissioner, the 3rd commissioner, become the chair. So the sitting chair was actually removed as board chair by a majority vote of the other 2. That can happen. It has happened. I don't know that it's happened here where a chair has been voted out, but it has happened in other counties. Any other questions or concerns?
I have a question. I see you have a budget adoption on the agenda. When the time comes, can you explain whether any changes were made since you introduced it?
Absolutely. In fact, that was going to be one of the things that we were going to ask Joe to elaborate on. So thank you. Kind of read our minds. Thank you. Anything else? Thank you all. Fiscal and contractual, we drop down to the warrant register dated December 19. Give my colleagues a time that they might need to look it over. This, of course, is a listing of the checks that have been cut by the Controller's Office. Whenever one of you would be ready, I could take a motion to accept this document.
I will move.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you both. Any questions or concerns? Hearing none, we'll do a roll call, please.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. By the way, these documents we're referring to, I'll be giving my packet to Debbie, but if anybody wishes to see any of these things, they're available if you'd like to see them. Next on the agenda are the minutes from the December 19 Commissioners meeting. Again, to Brian and Loretta, once you've had a chance to look them over, I could take a motion to adopt the minutes.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you both. Do either of you have any concerns or questions about the minutes?
I wasn't here, but I did watch you on YouTube. As Commissioner Steelvogel said last week, I bet Commissioner Buick was watching. I was homesick in bed, but I didn't muster the strength to go online and watch you guys. So I
hope it made you feel better.
I got a few chuckles.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good to know. By the way, we are glad you're feeling better.
Absolutely, yes.
I know you
Thank you. I hated my miss. That's the first time I missed work in 2 years due to illness. So.
Just glad you're doing better. Well, we have the motion and the second. If there are no other concerns, I'll ask for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Under written communications, we have one document that came in. We received it on December 18. It is from RAR Engineering Group based here in Newcastle. This involves a renewal application that is being made by Taylor Township relative to their sewage treatment plant in West Pittsburgh. It notifies us that Taylor Township intends to apply to the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection for the renewal of their National Pollution Discharge Elimination System permit number PA0024856. This is signed by Janine Malloy, Senior Engineer, and the permit is handled by DEP at their Meadville office. Any discussion or questions about this document?
Move for its acceptance and filing.
I will second.
I thank you both. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Steelvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you. Under Commissioner reports and comments, I get to go first today. And first of all, I hope everybody had a good, enjoyable, safe holiday, and we wish you the same for the new year. Let's hope that 2024 will be a good year for everybody living here in Lawrence County. This is a tough day today. This is the last meeting for two of my good friends, and I'm certainly going to miss them, and I've thoroughly enjoyed working with both of them. And but I know, I'm sure the future for both of them is also bright, and I hope the future for both of them will be rewarding. I want to thank both of them. I can assure residents of this county that the voters chose a very hardworking, conscientious commissioner in Commissioner Steelvogel, and the judges chose a very conscientious, hardworking commissioner in Commissioner Buick when he was able to return to fill the unexpired term. And life does go on, and we have to look ahead. But in hindsight and looking back, it has been a real pleasure for me to work with both. I appreciate all the help you've given me, all the support you've given me, the guidance, the advice, correcting my blunders, helping me with my sometimes bad memory. But I appreciate all that you've done. And I want you to know I value your friendship. Now, we have time for you to speak at this point. If you wish to wait till the end of the meeting, I would respect that as well. So Loretta, I'll turn it over to you, and however you want to handle it.
If that's okay, I will wait until the close of the meeting.
Of course.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Mr. Burek.
Thank you, Commissioner Vogler. Two quick things. Last meeting I attended was 2 weeks ago today, December 12th. That day, I went down to the confluence at lunchtime, and the city of Newcastle had in the state of Pennsylvania had the Act 47 exit ceremony. And I just wanted to congratulate the city on getting out of Act 47 distress status. There was many current and former city officials and state officials there, and the team that worked with the city. And I wish the city well in the future. There's still many challenges for the city, but that was a positive step for our county seat and largest municipality for Newcastle to exit Act 47 status. One other thing, that Friday, the 15th of December, and you were both there as well, we had the Shenango High School choir and jazz band come and perform a mini concert here at the courthouse. And I just wanted to thank them and commend them. For high school students at any level, they were just outstanding. The singing and the music they produced that day was just incredible. And I was going to compliment them, and it's timing couldn't have been better. Today's Newcastle News front page article: Shenango choir instructor called one of the nation's best. The young lady, the teacher that brought the students here, her name is Samantha Leali. She was just named to the Directors Who Make a Difference list in the December issue of School Band and Orchestra magazine. She was the representative for the state of Pennsylvania for music educators and just did a fabulous job. And we were all very impressed and enjoyed the concert very much of the Christmas music of the Shenango High School students. So just wanted to mention that. And then just want to thank you for your comments. Don't want to get emotional, but I value your friendship and enjoyed working with you. You've led the county for many years with professionalism and respect. And I appreciate that. And just want to thank you for that. And I enjoyed working with Commissioner Spielvogel as well. We had a lot of fun laughing and joking, but we both worked very hard on our various departments that we felt needed attention, and I think it was a great team. I worked with two prior boards, and with all due respect to them, this was the best board of commissioners I ever worked with. It's been an honor and a privilege, so thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'll move on under new business. The first proposed resolution, and Vanessa, can you help me with what number this is?
490.
490, thank you. This involves the adoption of the 2024 Lawrence County budget. You may recall that approximately 3 weeks ago, we introduced the budget, and state law requires that it be on public display for, is it 20 or 21 days? I can never recall which it is. It's one of the two. How many? 20, okay, thank you. And the law requires that we adopt a balanced budget prior to December 31. Resolution 490 would do just that. We do have the ability to make some modifications to the budget that is proposed between the day it's proposed to the day it's adopted. I'll ask our county administrator, Mr. Vanasco, to your knowledge, did we have to tweak anything?
No, not at this time at all. You know, a lot of the things we've kind of gone the route of more contingency dollars and a contingency line item, giving our department heads some flexibility with what they need to do in their individual departments. Right now, we're still within those contingency dollars. So, you know, as long as we manage the dollars closely and watch the dollars, we should be okay.
So from what I understand then, during that 3-week period, did you not have any department heads or elected officials come in and say, hey, I've got to make a change here or a change there?
No.
Okay. Well, and the fact that your efforts to formulate this budget and the consultation you had with, again, the various department heads and the elected officials, and the consultation and help that you received from the controller's office
Sure.
as well. That speaks well that this
Yes.
budget was formulated in such a way that it did not necessitate any significant changes to it. You know, we need to remember that a budget is just that. It's a projection of what we anticipate in terms of revenue and what we anticipate in terms of expenditures. And we all know, we've all lived it year by year, but those numbers change during the course of the year. Sometimes we receive more revenue than we had expected. Good example, this past year, as interest rates have gone up, that's allowed additional unanticipated revenue through the investments that we've made. But then sometimes expenses that we don't anticipate happening happen. Good examples, postage. In the middle of the year, the cost of postage went up. And we had to adjust our budget accordingly. It's very, very similar to our respective household budgets during the course of the year. And again, you've built in the contingencies that allow us in areas at times where we have unanticipated expenses to cover that. Before I let Loretta and Brian ask you anything else you want to add about the budget?
No, just again to reiterate, special thanks to the Board of Commissioners with their flexibility and allowing myself and the department heads to work closely together and come up with a balanced budget. I think the highlights, obviously at any time, there's no proposed tax increase for the citizens of Lawrence County, which is obviously important. And we did see a slight uptick in an increase in revenues, both on our anticipated real estate taxes, as well as you mentioned, interest and also individual department revenues as well, small upticks. So that all those were helpful.
Thank you again for your efforts on this. Commissioner Spielvogel, do you have any comments or questions regarding this proposal?
I would just say and reiterate, no tax increase, no layoffs, and no lessening of services being provided to the citizens of Lawrence County. I thank Joe for his diligence. The department heads are electeds for paying close attention to their budgets and being able to balance the budget. Thank you.
If you'll permit me. Thank you. We did get some helpful news out of Harrisburg in the last few weeks when the legislature adopted a bill that will increase the surcharge on telephone bills, if I'm not mistaken. I hope I'm saying this correctly, that are earmarked for 911 services throughout the Commonwealth. And accordingly, beginning next year, once this law takes effect and the surcharge goes up, we'll see additional revenue that will assist our public safety department. Do you happen to recall, did you budget any anticipated increase?
Not at the time.
Okay, because we didn't know how that would happen.
Right.
Yes, so
It would not have been prudent for us to have done so at that time, because we didn't know what the legislature was going to do. And they have since increased that surcharge, which will help our revenue. And I don't want to steal your thunder, because you, especially, we all communicated with our legislative delegation, but you really took the lead on that, and I want to thank you for that. So I hope I didn't steal your thunder, but I'll step back and let you, any questions or comments you have about the budget.
I was going to mention that at the end in my closing comments, but I just want to reiterate what Loretta said. Thank Joe Benasco and Albert Antonelli and Dave Prestapine and everyone who worked together to balance the budget with no tax increase. That was an important priority of mine this year, to try to do what we can within the budget and set the county on a good path for 2024. I'm very happy with that, and I thank those three individuals and everyone who worked hard on the budget to get us to this point.
Thank you, Brian, very much. Well, with that being said, may I then have a motion for Resolution 490?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you both. If there are no other questions or concerns, I'll ask Vanessa to call the roll.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes?
Motion carries.
Thank you so much. Next on the agenda, the next proposal involves the requirement for our employees to contribute a portion of towards their healthcare insurance coverage. Currently, employees, and this includes elected officials, with the exception of the elected officials that are paid by the Commonwealth, that being the judges, district judges. The employees and elected officials will be paying 6% towards the premium cost of their respective insurance policy. And this is applicable to non-union management and county compensated elected officials. Those folks who are in the union, there is language in the various union contracts that has that percentage spelled out. But again, what this resolution does, it establishes that all non-union management and county compensated elected officials will pay 6% of the premium cost of the policy. That's not 6% of their income. It's 6% of the premium cost of the policy. When I first started here 20 years ago, employees paid nothing towards their health insurance costs. We became pretty much a rarity. Most public sector employees now do pay a portion, and in the private sector, most private sector, it's even usually higher, a higher percentage. But let me see if Commissioner Buick has any comments about this.
None.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Spielvogel?
Just to further clarify, because I think sometimes there is that misconception when people just hear the 6%. So I will round up what my cost is right now as a single person. It's $9,000 something that the county does pay. I'll round it up to $10,000 that the county pays yearly. 6% of that is what I personally am responsible for. So that's round numbers, $600 divided by 26 pays. Figure it out. Our family plans are, I believe, at $29,000 is what it costs the county. Round that up to 30. 6% of that is a bit more, but even then, it's $1,800 a year divided by the 26 pays. So I think that compared to private sector and or other counties that they are paying, that we are, I consider myself and others and hopefully the other employees as well, we're fortunate that we have the coverage that we do with such minimal cost. And I know that that's, times are changing, and I don't want to go off on a tangent, but as you see the different salary increases that we are faced with, that we have done through salary board, trying to keep, our employees here and then also be able to hire new ones. The tide is turning from years ago. You go to work, you go to work for the government, the benefits are what you're after, that's what it will be, your pension will be good, your benefits will be good. The pay may not be where you want it to be, but you will grow and you will end up, as the years go on, it will be worth your while. Those attitudes are changing these days, and we as electeds have to realize that and try to balance that, the old and the new, and the past and the present. So that's a continuous battle, but I just wanted to clarify a little bit more what those actual costs are. in the scheme of things, because I know sometimes people just say 6% of, what that yearly salary is, and that's not it. It's what the premium is. Thank you for allowing me to elaborate.
No, thank you for doing so.
Mhm.
I might also add that incorporated with that is we also require, there are co-pays and deductibles.
Yes.
So that when you do have a need to go to a doctor, out of all of us, we have a copay. And there are deductibles that need to be met before the health insurance does kick in. Anything else on this issue? May I have a motion then for proposed resolution 491?
So moved.
Second,
Thank you both. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Spielvogel,
yes.
Commissioner Barrick,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Next on the agenda, we have a couple of items from our assessment office, and our chief assessor, J.R. Hardister, is with us. J.R., thank you for joining us, and appreciate your being here.
Before we start, Dan, Rebecca, thank you.
Oh,
It's been a pleasure working with you.
thank you
for
so
4
much.
years.
Thank you.
Brian, same with you. And thank you for bringing me on board 20-some years ago. So,
Some days you don't thank me for that. I was a commissioner when this young man was first hired right out of graduate school. He was well educated. He had some unique computer skills, and he's worked his way up to be our chief assessor. Does an outstanding job. In fact, he's what's your title with the state association?
quite a few of them. I chair our education committee. I work with our legislature, the assessment law committee, a bunch of them. I was a past president in 2015. So.
Past president of the State Association of County Chief Assessors. I've seen him presented statewide at many conferences. He's a well-respected individually, both locally and statewide.
Yes.
So could thank you for your service to the county over these many years.
And Dan, we get to put up with each other for 4 more years.
Yeah, then I'll be done. But, and you won't. You're younger than me. Well, JR, thank you. That was kind of you. And you have a proposal today regarding a discussion of us entering into a contract with Appraisal and Marketing Associates. But can you give us the background on this issue?
First, Appraisal Marketing Associate is an appraisal firm. They do commercial appraisals throughout the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And they've come highly recommended from other colleagues of mine throughout the state on these 2 kind of specific projects. So I sent out proposals to multiple appraisal firms, but based off of their expertise from some of, like I said, my other colleagues, they came highly recommended. So we have 2 property owners that have filed appeals to the Court of Common Pleas. So what the process is on or before August 1st of every year, property owners have a right to challenge their assessment, which in other words affects their property taxes. They have a hearing in front of the Board of Assessment Appeals in the fall, typically September or October. And then based off the board's decision, the property owner has a second opportunity to appeal that to the Court of Common Pleas. So that is where we are in this process, is the property owners were aggrieved by the Board of Assessment Appeals decision and have decided to appeal to the Court of Common Pleas here in Lawrence County. The 2 property owners are the Lowe's Home Improvement Store in Union Township, and the other one is known as Home Storage Plus, which is half of the former Lawrence Village Plaza. So both of those property owners filed appeals, and the board made a decision to which they were not very happy with. So we, the 3 taxing bodies, have agreed to hire an expert witness, an appraisal firm known as Appraisal Marketing Associates, to provide expert testimony and an expert report for both of these properties. And again, the reason they were selected is both of these being strip plazas, there is a lot of case law and a lot of things going around the nation where we call the dark store theory, where people are making arguments on vacant buildings even if they are not vacant. And this appraisal firm has fought and been very successful throughout the Commonwealth over the last couple of years on this theory. So this is one of the main reasons why we went in this direction. To anticipate Commissioner Vogler's next question, yes, all other 2 taxing bodies have agreed, and Solicitor Medora has already reviewed these contracts. So how these work is there is a one-time cost in the cost is split between the three taxing bodies based off of the anticipated tax revenue, so it's percentage based. So the first one being appraisal of Home Plus Storage, the total price is $4,800. The county's portion would be $1,479. The school district's amount would be $2,734, and the township would be $587.
That's Shenango School District and
Shenango School
Shenango
District.
Township.
That's correct. And then for the Lowe's home improvement, its appraised cost was $5,500, which would be $1,540 for the county, $2,915 for the school, and $1,045 for the township. That's Union Township and the Union School District. So those will be split based off of the millage rates. I think I summed everything up, and I'll answer any questions.
Well, thank you very much. Couple things. Just to reiterate, the two entities here did appear in front of the Board of Assessment Appeals. Obviously, they didn't like the decision of the Board of Assessment Appeals, which is why they then, which was their right to do, proceeded to the Court of Common Pleas. The agency that you're looking at hiring is based in Sunbury, Pennsylvania, which is in Northumberland County. In fact, that's the county seat of Northumberland County, not central Pennsylvania. I'm assuming, and I was pleased to hear that you did look at other organizations, other companies. This is, I'm assuming that in your discussion with the solicitor, that this is considered a professional service that does not require a sealed bid process. Is that your understanding?
That is correct.
And plus, I'd have to add the numbers up, but even if it were, I think it fell under the threshold for public bid, or for sealed bids, which was going up, I think, to 23,500 at the beginning of the year. So either way, it didn't meet that threshold, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, with $4,800 and $5,500, which could be considered two individual contracts if
True.
necessary.
But I do appreciate that you did check with other firms before you reached this conclusion.
On that note, Dan, this firm also has an office in Cranberry.
Okay, that's
So
good
they
to know.
they do have a local office.
Okay, glad to hear that. Commissioner Spielvogel, do you have questions for Mr. Hardister?
I do not. Thank you.
Thank you. And Commissioner Burek?
No, he gave a very thorough explanation. Thank you very much.
All righty, I appreciate your answering my questions as well. May I have a motion then for proposed resolution 492?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes?
Motion carries.
Thanks, Vanessa. Next is looking at the possibility of us entering into a contract with Vision Government Solutions. This would be proposed resolution 493. And, it's a change order, excuse me. It's a change order of an existing contract, if I'm not mistaken. I'll let you elaborate, please.
Back in June of 2022, the county entered into a contract with Vision Government Solutions to provide new software in the assessment office. The software we've been using is a little antiquated, and in order to bring us up into the times, we went ahead and signed a contract with Vision Government Solutions. During the year and a half to which we've been going through the software conversion, we ran into a few bumps in the road, and one being a conversion of our 1999 costing data. Not to go on a historical tangent of reassessment in Pennsylvania, reassessments aren't something that happened that frequent. So the last time we did it was in 2003. So the data that was used was a cost manual from 1999. And the company that provided that was known as Marshall Swift. They were actually acquired by another company called CoreLogic, to which converted their data, but they converted their data in 2011 into a new software format. We've been using a 1999 version, so when we went ahead and converted with Vision, Vision does not have the ability to use the 1999 software. So we've been working with CoreLogic to get them to convert the 1999 data into a 2023 data format that can be read, and that's been a very long, tedious process. So that is why the project kind of got pushed back, why we're asking for this change order. It's not gonna cost the county any money, it's just a timeline because based off of our contract, we are kind of out of contract because of this little bump in the road. It is gonna be fixed and it is important because we have to replicate data. The values that we used in 2003 have to be the same today because we run a base year assessment system. So that's why it was important to get this right and not get in any other future trouble down the road. So we wanted to make sure it was right rather than make the project go off and then possibly have lawsuits down the road. So everything will be fixed hopefully within the first quarter of the year, meaning by the June, we should be good to go with correct data and costing data. So that was the big hurdle. So it wasn't really anything on Vision's part or the county's part. No one anticipated this 1999 software not being readable.
And what I'm able to gather from what you've said, this is something they understand on their part. They're not kicking and screaming about this. They understand the need for this. Obviously, you realize the need.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Burek, do you have questions for JR?
No.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
No questions.
Okay, may I have a motion then for proposed resolution 493?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. We'll have a roll call, please.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. JR, I guess that's it for today.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's enough for me for one day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I think we're gonna see you next week though, aren't we? Because we
Yes.
have to reappoint,
The Board of Appeals is more an organizational meeting.
okay, fine. I'll give the two incoming commissioners a little heads up to expect that.
Okay.
But thank you. So we'll see you. Happy New Year.
Yes,
Happy New Year.
happy
Happy New Year.
And
Yes.
Brian and Loretta, thank you again very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you.
The next item involves the jail, and Loretta, in your capacity as chair of the prison board, I'm assuming I can call on you on this matter? This is 494.
And it's just a renewal of a contract that happens every year. And it's the TA-7 system, which is the informational system, notification system for victims of crime. That's as basic as it is, and it just allows us to continue into the next year.
So it's a contract renewal, or an
Absolutely.
agreement renewal.
An agreement renewal.
Okay.
Yes.
Brian, do you have any questions on this?
No.
And I don't either, since this is a standard, something we've done every year in the past. This is 494. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you both. If there are no other questions, we'll ask for a roll call.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Thank you again, Loretta.
Sure.
Next on the agenda, we have some board appointments to consider. You may recall, probably about 6 or 8 weeks ago, we received notification from Mr. Rick Myers, who is the fire chief in Elwood City Borough and who has been serving as a member of the Lawrence County Housing Authority Board of Directors. He submitted his resignation to that board. The resignation takes effect on December 31 of this year. As per the ordinance that governs authority appointments, we noted at 2 different public meetings that there was this opening. We noted that historically, traditionally, even though there's no statutory requirement, but traditionally we've tried to have one of the 5 members be from Elwood City Borough, considering the fact that the Housing Authority does have 2 facilities within the borough limits. And we did receive a letter of interest from the borough manager in Elwood City Borough. His name is Kevin Swagger. He has indicated an interest in serving on the Housing Authority. One of the things that's required of any authority position, we have to do a background check, and that was completed, came back fine. I'll also note that the Housing Authority, even though it says Lawrence County Housing Authority, it's not an arm of county government. The folks that work there are not county employees. The only role that the commissioners play is the appointment of the 5 board members. We don't allocate any county dollars towards their operations. Their operations are funded primarily by the federal government and by the rents that are paid by the tenants, the folks who live in the various facilities. But we do have this requirement to appoint the members of the board. So this resolution would appoint Mr. Kevin Swager of Elwood City Borough to replace Mr. Rick Myers on the Housing Authority Board, and Mr. Swager's term would then conclude on December 31 of 2024. Brian, any comments that you wish to make?
No.
Thank you. Loretta?
No.
No? Okay, thank you. We do want to thank Chief Myers for his
Yes.
service. He's a very dedicated public servant, and I have a lot of, and I think we all have
Yes.
a great deal of respect for him. And Mr. Swager has shown that he's been a very effective borough manager in our county's largest borough. So may I have a motion then to appoint Mr. Swager as a result of Resolution 495?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you both. Any further discussion?
No.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes?
Motion carries.
Thank you. It's also a responsibility of ours to appoint or reappoint individuals to serve on the Lawrence County Industrial Development Authority. That authority meets on an as-needed basis. It's a 5-member board. I might add, for both for this board and the Housing Authority Board, but these folks are not compensated for what they do. But we do have 3 individuals whose terms are expiring and who have indicated a desire and a willingness to continue to serve as members of the Industrial Development Authority. The first person is Mrs. Nancy Bonk, who resides in Neshannock Township. Mrs. Bonk's currently retired, but she did have a very successful career in management at both Bell Telephone and Penn Power. And I'm an acquaintance of Nancy's and think very highly of her. So this is proposed resolution 496 to appoint or reappoint Mrs. Nancy Bonk to the Industrial Development Authority. Comments or concerns? Would one of you care to make a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you both. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll take a roll call on 496.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. The next individual who has been serving on the Industrial Development Authority is Jessica Seminara Tomzik, who is a resident of Scott Township. And her professional affiliation is with, I think it's Classico Foods, which is the parent company of our good friends Pizza Joe's. Jessica has been serving on this board for the past few years and has indicated a willingness to continue to serve. Again, she works here in Lawrence County and is a resident of Scott Township. Is there a motion for 497 to reappoint her?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Comments, Brian? No? Loretta, anything?
No.
Thank you. We'll do a roll call.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. 498 would reappoint Mr. George Selly, who is a resident of Elwood City Borough, to continue to serve on the county's Industrial Development Authority. Mr. Selly is a very well-respected person from the southern end of the county, has been for many years on Borough Council in Elwood City and brings a lot to the table. Any comments or discussion relative to George?
Move for its adoption.
Thank you.
I will second.
I thank you both. And if there are no other comments, I'll ask for a roll call, please.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes?
Motion carries.
Thank you. Proposed resolution 499. Amy McKinney is off today. She's our planning director, but she submitted this proposal to us. We have the responsibility of appointing members to the county's planning commission. And the state law does permit that we can have, specifically the Pennsylvania Municipalities Planning Code allows us to have at least one, but not more than 3 residents as alternate members of the County Planning Commission. We currently have one individual from the county, Hygeia Moss Eggleston, thank you. Hygeia Moss Eggleston, who's in the banking industry. She's been serving as an alternate member for a good year, maybe 2 years now.
At least a full year.
Exactly, she's been very good about attending
Yes.
meetings. Amy has recommended to us that we give consideration to a second county resident to serve as an alternate member. She is proposing Mr. Benjamin Bush, who is a resident of Neshannock Township. Mr. Bush currently serves as the, and you'll have to help me with his title, is it Executive Director of the Lawrence County Economic Development Corporation / Forward Lawrence?
Economic Development Corporation / Chamber under the heading Forward Lawrence. Yes.
The reason I looked to Loretta, she's on that board. So thank you. And that being said, do you have anything you wish to add?
I think it would be a great addition, as an alternate. He has already been showing up to the meetings, taking interest, and in his position with Forward Lawrence, I think that it's imperative that he be either a participant or a member. So this is good.
Thank you. Mr. Burek, anything you wish to add?
Just that I've been very impressed with Mr. Bush since he's come on board, working here in Lawrence County, Forward Lawrence. Commissioner Spielvogel was on the committee that helped select him, and she said you'll be impressed with him. And she was a woman of her word, and he's been a great addition to Lawrence County, and glad to see that he's willing to serve as an alternate planning commission member.
I concur with both of your comments. Would one of you care to make a motion for Resolution 499?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you both. We'll take a roll call, please.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Buick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
I'm going to walk us through these proposed transfers, budget transfers. As I go through them, stop me if you have any questions. And then if you're so willing, can we take them all as a final vote if you'd like to do that? We can separate them out if you wish. But first is the jail. The total transfer is $8,922. $4,900 of that is coming from contingency going into their line item for water. Under contracted services, they're taking $1,360 and transferring that to their telephone line item. They're asking for a transfer of $1,397 from arbitration / legal settlements into maintenance and repairs. Also from arbitration legal settlements, they're asking for a $1,080 transfer into uniforms. And then finally, under contracted services, they'd like to take $185 from that line item into gasoline. I'm assuming it's for whatever vehicles they have over there to keep them running. The total is $80,922. Next is adult probation. They are asking for a $2,000 transfer from their contingency into that of materials and supplies. If I'm reading this correctly, it's for house arrest monitoring. The next one is under the commissioner's jurisdiction, asking for a transfer of $1,822 from the travel and training line item into that of association dues. Also under the commissioner's budget, under contracted services, we're asking for a $357.60 transfer into that of the cable line item. And next, under the commissioners, we're asking for a $200,000 transfer from the American Rescue Plan contingency line item into the American Rescue Plan / other. And I believe this is to cover the allocation we just made to Butler Community College, which was done at last week's, or 2 weeks ago, meeting. Next is the courts. They are asking for a $15,000 transfer from their salary of staff line item into court legal fees. Also under the courts, they're asking for a transfer of $26,979.33 from their salary of staff line item into subscriptions. The sheriff's office is asking for a $16,100 transfer. $11,000 of that is coming from their contingency, $2,000 is coming from K-9 expenses, and $3,100 is coming from the salary of deputy line item. This is all going into their office minor line item to cover the purchases of ballistic vests. Also under the sheriff's office, they are requesting a $12,000 transfer from salary of deputies line item into that of office minor, and that is to cover the first installment to purchase new tasers. And then we have some various proposals here as follows. The district attorney is asking for by the way, these are all going into the postage, respective postage line items. District attorney is asking for $258, and I believe that's 54 cents, from their maintenance and repairs into their postage. Also, then domestic relations is asking for a $2,444.07 transfer into their postage. Goes back to what we said earlier. We budgeted last year, we had not anticipated an increase in postage. Next, the prothonotary is asking for a transfer of $1,531.04 from their travel and training line item into their postage line item. And then finally, the voter's office is asking for a transfer of $768.93 from their line item entitled Election Integrity Grant Contingency into that of their postage. That concludes the requested transfers. Loretta, any concerns?
No.
Thank you. Mr. Bureau, any concerns?
No.
May I have a motion then to approve the aforementioned transfers?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you both. Do a roll call, please.
Commissioner Spielvogel?
Yes.
Commissioner Barrick?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Couple of announcements. Monday, January 4 is New Year's Day, the federal holiday. The courthouse will be closed. We reopen on Tuesday, January 2. As we mentioned earlier, there will be the swearing-in ceremony. It's open to the public, beginning at 11 a.m. in courtroom number 1. Then the commissioners' meeting, the first of the year, will begin at 1 p.m. that same day, Tuesday, January 2, in this room, and that's open to the public. And then third, state law, county code requires that the salary board hold its annual meeting on the first business day of the year, that being January 2. The salary board will convene at 2 p.m. I believe those meetings have been appropriately advertised. I think I saw them in the paper. Thank you. So we've met the sunshine law requirements. I will note that the annual salary board meeting will be relatively simple. We will be voting to confirm the cost of living adjustment for non-union and management employees who work here in county government. But the format will be that each elected official is welcome to come to that meeting and they can vote on their particular office. So again, all those meetings are open to the public. Let me open the floor for comments that anyone might have.
Well,
Yes, ma'am.
I would just like to say farewell to Ms. Bill Vogel and Mr. Burek, and I appreciate all the time and effort and dedication that they have shown that I have seen exhibited here. And I pray that the next board will operate in the same manner.
Thank you.
Very kind of you. Thank you. Any other comments at this time? Well, we always do closing comments, and Commissioner Spielvogel had asked to defer till now, and that's what we'll do. And I'm not going to forget you, but please.
Thank you. I'll make it short, not emotional as much as I can. But first of all, just thank you for your kind words. Thank you for always being here, for showing up with questions and wanting to know more about how your county functions. Debbie, you're here. You're a constant as a friend, as an interested citizen, and also as a news reporter with your responsibility to report what everything goes on. Thank you so much too. I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge that. Thank you to the residents. Like you said, Dan, electing me 4 years ago, it has been an experience. I've enjoyed it. I say the good, the bad, and the ugly. Starting with Dan as such a mentor, as being that person there to question, to a lot. I know even with Morgan Boyd being here, the years that we had him here as well, for being that guide for us when we would stray or maybe go off on a tangent, whatever it may be. Dan was always the one to say, well, have you talked to this official? Have you talked to that person? Have you checked with this solicitor? Is there money for that? So all of those things, thank you so much. Thank you for the introductions to the different people at CCAP and at any meeting that I was at. I appreciate that, and I know you will do the same for the two new commissioners coming in. Brian, for the year that you were here, we always had that ability to joke and laugh and carry on, but boy, we did get the work done. And you dug in and took up that gauntlet and just being a very productive part of the operation. Thank you much for that. The judges did make a good decision with you being here. When I look back, thinking that I had, done so much homework and did so many things to prepare myself for this job. Boy, did I have rose-colored glasses and blinders, because there's so much more to it. And I just hope that our two new commissioners coming in will also dig in the way that we did and do the job. And I know, again, Daniel will be the mentor for them. I remember thinking one of the biggest things that I wanted to get accomplished was getting rid of the concrete jungle in the courtyard out front, and getting the painting and the repair work done so that we can have the beautiful courtyard that we do. And I'm very proud of the work that we did. And I say we, because not one commissioner does it alone. We may spearhead certain things, but not one does it alone. You need to have everybody on board and 2 votes to move forward with anything. Getting rid of that concrete jungle, the house, that albatross that we had on Wilmington Road, where it was supposed to be, a new magisterial office, and that did not happen, but we were able to find a buyer for it. And at the same time, we also have a new magisterial office on Wilmington Road, which I believe we can certainly be proud of. Thinking those things from the beginning, those were good things that happened. And then, of course, COVID. Nothing that no one could have been prepared for. I think surviving COVID, and that's what I say, surviving COVID is something that I will always be proud of, because there was no book, no game plan, no coach's manual, nothing whatsoever. I remember being here, meeting here, making snap decisions as a group, calling in, Judge Motto, late one evening, Joe being here, just, okay, what do we do? The courts are shut down, we're into that emergency situation. We declare our emergency. The health and welfare of not only the residents of Lawrence County, but our staff, making the decisions that we did with them. And I know we tried to cover every base that we could possibly cover. I do not regret any decision that we made, because we did it with those thoughts in mind. Luckily enough that we had 2 different opportunities to get money from the federal government to assist us, because we were in a bad way as far as finances for the county. First year in, we had a tax increase, but we needed to do that. And then thankfully, we did receive CARES funding through the Trump administration. And we were able to do a lot of different allocations that I look back on and I'm just like, wow, $4.5 million in funding to 3 million to 171 small businesses, 21 municipalities, close to $1 million. Nonprofit monies that we gave monies to, close to $400,000, $250,000 to volunteer fire departments. Westminster College, the Economic Development Corporation, with the American Rescue Plan funding. A lot of economic development opportunities that we had that we could utilize those monies for. But just making those decisions that we did and getting ourselves through, and then year after year building, spending those dollars wisely, utilizing them in those situations that would continue to help and to grow Lawrence County. Just thankful to the other elected officials, to our staff, our employees, the dedicated professionals that they are. You know what, decisions were not always easy. We were not always popular, but I go back to, we always did what we thought was the best for Lawrence County. I am grateful to have served on the numerous boards that I have that I've served on, from the Farm Bureau to Ag Preservation. I learned more about manure than I never thought that you could learn about manure. But it's the hardships, it's the decisions that our farming community that they have to face. And also to our tourist promotion agency, Visit Lawrence County, learning the great value that our opportunities that we have for different things, the outdoor recreation that we do have, just the beauty of Lawrence County. The School to Work Board, Forward Lawrence, yes, working with that organization, the Economic Development Corporation, going through the highs and lows of that. And it is still under reconstruction, and I look forward to seeing that move forward in the year to come. And Ben Bush being part of that selection process, I know that he is the right fit for Lawrence County. We have economic development opportunities with Stonecrest to the south, with Millennium Park, the expansion of Still Light that is hopefully coming in the future for that. I know that there's a lot of work being done with that. The monies that we allocated, the American Rescue Plan fund monies, the $900,000 to Neshannock Township for their sewer replacement and their repair costs. Shenango Commons redevelopment. I go by there and I see that place growing and things happening. The Coney Island is every day a little bit more is done there. I see the old PNC Bank turning into the new Pizza Joe's that will be there. The storefronts are being filled. I look forward to seeing the different things that can be done with that. The Newcastle downtown revitalization, thinking that first Merit building would have been down by the end of the year. That did not happen, but it is close to it. It is happening. New Wilmington, the money that we allotted to them for their Economic Development Corporation. Again, as I said, Westminster College to assist them with their nursing program, expanding their labs. Elwood City, the progress that they are making, unbelievable. Union Township, the continuing progress that they make. We have great elected municipal officials in our 27 municipalities. Every single one of them deserve the accolades that they get, because their jobs are not easy. And they're not full-time positions. They are things that are done, and they're not paid well, if they are paid at all. But they continue to do the work that needs to be done. The liquid fuels funding, the roads, the bridges with the municipalities, the $3 million in funding over the years that we've given to them. There's a lot to look forward to for Lawrence County. We have to be our cheerleaders for that. We have to say those things, the positive things. We cannot wake up in the morning and be negative about it, but it's up to us to talk about the good, about the positive. We passed a balanced budget with, like I said, no layoffs and no lessening of services provided to our residents. We have a healthy reserve fund. Our general fund is solid, and we have a healthy capital improvement fund. So these are things that, looking back in 2020, that were not there, and they are there now. And I believe that we as a board have spent responsibly, we have invested responsibly, and I think that we have governed responsibility. I say we because it is a three-member board. Joe, the work that you have done, phenomenal. Vanessa, keeping us on track. As we had our last couple of meetings, Vanessa, anything that you have to add to our staff meeting? Yes, there is. Let me go page after page after page, because that's the responsibility of keeping the county government functioning. These are the things that need to be done. I know Christine, I hope that she is watching, being there, just being that assistant that is always ready. I can do that. I can add that to the calendar. I can assume this duty, being the different boards that she is the secretary for, doing those things. The many things that happen, the keeping track of the titles on the vehicles, the accidents, taking care of those types of reports. Those are things that no one realizes happens in the commissioner's office. Every office talks about the staff that they have lost over the years. I remember 4 years ago, or 5 years ago when I was running, there were 5 people in that office, and now there are 2. And so I thank you guys. I thank you guys for the many times that I come in and say, is there someone that can do this? And I look back and forth, and neither one of them ever say no. So we have a truly dedicated professional staff there. So I thank them. Good luck and best wishes to the new board coming in. Dan, like I said, I know you'll be that mentor to them. I look forward to seeing things that we have started, that we've worked with, seeing those things come to fruition and move forward, and also new things from the years to come. So I thank you, everyone. Thank you again to the residents for putting your trust in me 4 years ago. I look forward to continuing to being around and staying involved in different community groups and boards and organizations. So thank you. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Burek, anything else you wish to add?
Just a few things, please, of course. I already thanked you and Loretta both. I couldn't have been treated better, and I appreciate everything. Thank Joe and Vanessa for being.
And that is why I didn't elaborate on too much, because that's where I was, my friend. That's where I was.
Professionals. But I miss working with all of you every day.
Bittersweet.
I want to thank the Burchetts for coming. Years ago, we used to have maybe 6 to 10 regular visitors from the public. And it meant a lot to me to hear from the public and to know that people were watching what we do as elected officials. And you two have been the only regulars this year, and I greatly appreciate you taking the time to come and observe and ask questions and give us some feedback. And please continue to do that as long as you're able. Public officials need to always be reminded that we work for the public. When I was commissioner before, I worked very hard for 8 years. It was hard not getting reelected to a 3rd term, but never thought I'd have the chance to come back. But this year, when there was a vacancy and I met with the judges, I promised them I would work hard as a full-time commissioner. And I did that this year. Other than last week when a virus knocked me down, I devoted 100% of my time and energy to the county, and it's been a privilege. I'm going to miss it very much. Just 2, not to belabor the meeting, but 2 last things. Follow up on Dan had mentioned about the 911 surcharge. One of my priorities this year was to make the 911 system the best it could be. And I was happy and thankful for my colleagues that we were able to finally adjust some of the salaries and wages for the 911 staff up. And partial good news this year, thanks to the effort of my colleagues and our colleagues around the state, we were able to get the legislature to pass a partial increase in the 911 surcharge. The monthly phone surcharge is gonna go up in March of 2024. It's gonna go from $1.65 to $1.95, which is 30 cents a month, so for, it'll go up about $3 next year on each phone bill. But that money, we got an email yesterday from CCAP.
Yes.
Right now, we don't have the exact figures, but CCAP estimates it might generate around another $289,000 in revenue for Lawrence County, which is needed to pay the increased wages that we put out through salary board recently. And again, that job is a difficult job. It requires a great deal of training. And you need people willing to take those jobs and stay in those jobs and complete all the training modules and be prepared and work as a team to dispatch emergency medical services and police and fire. And so I'm happy we were able to make some progress on that front. And I just want to finish by saying that all of our county staff, just amazing. We have a great group of elected officials right now. We have so many good county staff and department heads, and I'm very impressed with the way everybody does their job individually and works together as a team for the good of the county. And just very last comment, final announcement, March 20th of 2024, we're gonna have a ceremony here at the courthouse up in courtroom 1 to kick off the recognition of Lawrence County's 175 years. I'm a history teacher by training. It's been a privilege to work on that committee. I want to thank Commissioner Vogler and all the other current and former elected officials and committee members, Debbie, for your service on that committee. We have one more meeting tomorrow to try to wrap up some things, and look forward to getting the new booklet published here in by the end of February. In March, kick off the year with our ceremony, and look forward to 2024 being a good year for the county. And I wish Dan well with the new board, and sad I won't be part of it, but very glad and honored that I was able to be, never thought I'd be able to come back, and to be able to come back this year was a great joy and a great honor and a great privilege. So thanks for giving me that time, Mr. Chair.
Absolutely.
If I may,
Of course.
how do we forget to mention our solicitor that we try every day, Jason Nador? I would be remiss if I did not say that as well, and I know everyone here is the same, because it's like, Jason, do you have a minute? And it's never a minute,
That's right.
and he never says no. You text him, I bothered him this weekend, while he was away, and he does, and he responds. And I would be very, very remiss if I did not mention him as well. So thank you, Jason, for those years, that guidance. And I know you'll be there to continue support Dan and Joe and Christine, Vanessa, and the two new board members coming in. Okay, I feel better now.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Before we adjourn, I did neglect, correct me if I'm wrong, but the prison board is meeting at noon, is
At
that correct?
Yes.
And that was advertised in accordance with the Sunshine Law, that meeting's open to the public. Well, on behalf of a very grateful county, again, I want to thank you.
Thank you.
And I want to thank you for your very dedicated service. You've made this county better, and people know that. So thank you again, very, very much. May I please have a motion to adjourn our meeting?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion is carried. Thank you all. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Sorry for getting so emotional.
Listen,
Courthouse has been a big part of my life.
several times I felt it coming on, and I had to just move on.
Oh, I have your packet.